So, like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
what do you think about? Because I know in this reality here, when we have someone that passed suddenly, for example, or young, we usually say, um, like they went too soon. Do you think that that is like valid that someone passed too soon, or do we all go at the time that we're meant to go?
I think we all go at the time we're meant to go. I think so.
Mm,
I think so. Um, it's a very, very fine line because when you think, especially children, you
yeah.
know, how can that be, possible,
Yeah.
But I think it's hard for us to comprehend because we are in the physical world.
Yeah.
Um, I've connected to so many babies on the others, born and unborn babies. Yeah,
Mm,
so loads of mamas that had miscarriages and all of that. And the thing that I hear the most from the kids is like, "Thank you for being my mom for that time because that's what I needed. I just
wow.
needed to be there. I just needed to experience it that way. Thank you for giving me the love. Thank you for allowing me to be born or allowing me to just be in your body for as long as
Yeah.
I needed to." And that's what I needed to experience. And there's so much peace when they come through, so much peace. I
Wow.
always feel that that it's more us that are really stuck with a certain view of things.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
feel that on the other side, like spiritually, I really feel that for them it's so much more uncomplicated,
Yeah.
you know. And I have not, especially children, actually. Now that I'm thinking back, I've not found someone that was distressed. That like, children are very, very grateful, very, very
Mm,
grateful, very grateful
wow.
to their mothers, to their parents for having been able to just experience what they needed to in this life. And also, I also feel like I really believe in parallel lives and past lives as well. I think
Yeah.
there's a lot there too, and I can sense how we are connected through lifetimes. And very often, children, we meet them again. Very often,
Yeah.
we meet our souls again. Actually, I'm gonna make you smile. A really good one of my best friends. She has a 4-year-old, and I think it was last year, so she would have been 3, right?
Yeah.
Last year she was playing with her parents, and she said, "Do you remember, Mum, when I was your mum?"
Wow.
Yes. And she's like,
That
"What do you
is
mean?" She's like,
so
"Yeah."
crazy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow.
She says, yes. She says, when I was your mom, you really liked playing this game. And they were like pretending like having tea.
Yeah.
And she's like, you really liked playing this when I was your mom.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
It's so
Whoa.
beautiful, isn't it? Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah, I know, like,
Yeah.
because I'm a mom too. And
Yeah.
sometimes I wonder, like, what kind of relationship did I have with these children,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
some other
Yeah.
dimension, in a past life, or, yeah, because, like, I feel like kids are such, like being a parent is like a spiritual thing. Like, it's very spiritual. It teaches you so much about yourself. There's just so much growth. And, like, if when you come to a certain level of awareness and introspection, it's just mind blowing what it means to be a parent and, birth children, even if you don't birth them, like even adopted children or children that, end up in your care for whatever reason. It is such a spiritual pursuit, like, seriously. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think that is something that it's so easy to take for granted, right? But yeah,
Yeah.
anything is. I mean, everything about life is spiritual anyway. But then when it comes to these really close relationships, these bonds that we form with people, like, there's just so many levels to that we don't understand or we don't remember
Yeah.
So it's really fascinating. I'm curious to know though, since we're on the topic of children, in the US, there's been this long-standing debate and upheaval about abortion and abortion rights and things like that. For the babies that get aborted, for me, I have zero judgment as to what anyone decides to do with their body. But
Hmm.
what do you think, like from a spiritual perspective and what you know of like life and death and all this stuff, how do you then how can you help people to like reconcile with something like that, like something like abortion that is so heavy for a lot of people?
Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. I think that actually mediumship is a beautiful tool for that. I think connecting with the souls of the unborn babies, it's a beautiful way to have a conversation and understand what, have not necessarily closure, because I don't think there ever is closure because our
Yeah.
souls are so connected, but at least understanding why things went the way that they did, and actually for the mothers to know that, you know possibly that's what the baby also wanted, if that's what the
Yeah.
mother wanted, you know
Yeah.
very often there's a type of reading that we can do with people, this which is not mediumship, but
Mm.
it's simply looking around their energy for any like spirit guides or beings and stuff like that. Do you know
Yeah.
how many babies I see around people? So many babies. So many
Wow.
babies, yes, very
That's
often. And when
amazing.
I asked the babies, I was like, what do you do? What are you doing in this person's energy? And they're like, I'm just checking them out. I'm just checking them out. I like being here, and
Wow.
maybe I might be choosing them as mothers. I was like, okay, that's great.
Okay.
So we always have, so it is not a strange thing to see around somebody's energy to have babies, and I feel like there's so many souls. Not all of them get to be in the physical world all the time.
Yeah.
Some of them, they just need to, maybe that's the experience that their soul wanted to
Wanted
have
to
at that
have.
time.
Yeah.
And honestly, so many of the unborn babies that I connected with had only thank you to say to their moms. Only
Wow.
thank you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that definitely takes a lot of the heaviness off because I think there's a lot of shame, there's a lot of guilt,
Yeah.
even regret,
I
like all
bet.
sorts of like lower frequency ideas and things around that. And as you said, like the souls do come in and decide to have that experience, even though it's really hard for us to wrap our heads around. Maybe you have a
Yeah.
soul contract with that soul to do that, right?
Yeah.
The soul wanted to
Yeah.
experience that for their own reason, whatever it is that they wanted to learn or grow from. So, yeah. And, but to
Yeah.
us in this, for like very physical world and the ideas that we have, the concepts that we adhere to and believe in, it's hard for a lot of people to understand that it's okay. There's no judgment. It's all love at the end of the
Yeah.
day. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to address something, because I know that a lot of people will be thinking about this as we are on the topic of children.
Yeah.
Is all of the kids in war zones,
Oh,
right? Have they
yeah.
actually, like, what is happening with them,
Oh, Lord.
and it's,
Yeah.
again, like, it's a very, very hard thing to understand and to
It
wrap
is.
your
Yeah.
head around it, and it takes a lot. I mean, I've been thinking about it, so much, especially with the work that I do and stuff. And when we have these, when we decide to embrace our psychic abilities,
Mm.
the thing that matters the most is our intention. Okay.
Yeah.
In general, actually, not only whether you decide to embrace your psychic abilities or not, like, in general, intention is what's going to direct energy, right?
Yeah.
And I feel that there are people that are going to utilize their intuitive power, because in a way it does give you a lot of power, right? It's
Yeah.
very empowering thing. It's a very powerful thing. And so a lot of people are deciding to utilize this for good and to be
Mm.
ethical, and they decide to heal themselves and utilize whatever they have learned and everything for the greater good and to help. Okay.
Yeah.
But let's not forget that there's always another side of things as well, right? There's always going to be people who are going to try and twist things. You know, there are
Yeah.
people out there with bad intentions. You know, there
Yeah.
are people out there that decide, I want to develop my psychic abilities so that I can do something else, right? And
Yes.
exercise my power over someone else, right? Not everyone decides that the greater good or service is what they want to do, right? There's
Yes.
people who are going to utilize their power in very different ways, right? So when it
Yeah.
comes to especially wars and things like that, I feel that and sorry, backtrack a second. I also feel that the people with the bad intentions are usually the one that have the most insecurities, that
Oh
don't
yeah.
want to face themselves, right? They have the most insecurities, that don't feel enough. But the thing is that because most of us have insecurities, but when we face them and we heal them and we move on from them, then the energy that we put out there is of one sort of vibration, right? But when we
Mm-hmm.
don't and we try to bypass them and we try to lean into power before we have healed, then the effect it's very different, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, but ultimately, they're all people that are very, very insecure. So whoever is it that it's fighting a war, there's so many in the world right now, right? So whoever it is that is fighting the wars on both sides, they are dealing with whatever power is driving them is a
Yeah.
very low vibrational, insecure kind of energy. Okay.
Yeah.
Very low vibrational, very insecure kind of energy. When it comes to children, and their innocence and their energy is very, very high vibrational, very, very high vibrational. So when we have these sorts of energies, and also children are usually very empathic as well. So when we have these
Yeah.
sorts of low, insecure energy, that's where they're going to want to feed, isn't it? That's what's going to
Mm.
attract them. Okay.
Yeah.
So as much as I do believe that there are so many children that come and they are meant to experience, a short life, I also know that when, especially when it's in war zones, especially when it's in a situation like that, when there's so many low vibrational energies, I know that they are being overpowered as well. So that
Yeah.
might not have been necessarily what was meant for them, for sure. So I
Oh.
do feel that there's different things, but